Mr. Olanrewaju Williams holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Statistics from the prestigious University of Ibadan and Masters of Business Administration, that's in Human Resources, from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He's a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, MCIPM of Nigeria, and also an accredited trainer by the Nigerian Council of Management Development. He also holds IFC LPI, that has a Master Trainer certification. Olanrewaju has about 2 decades postgraduate experience cutting across healthcare, consulting, financial services, construction, and FMCG sectors of the economy as practicing human resource professional. He has passion for excellence and bringing out the best out of people. He has mentored over 1,000 proteges. Larry has served in various capacities, including but not limited to member, public policy and advocacy committee for the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria for about 2 years. That's between 2018 to 2020, as the chairman learning and programs for the Association of Allied Human Resource Professionals. That's our association, among others. Is currently the director of learning and capacity development with the association. He's happily married with kids and enjoys pastime playing music instruments or watching football. Once again, let's welcome Mr. Olanrewaju William as we get started. Hello, Mr. Larry.
Hello, Larry. Good evening to you. Good day, yes, everyone, depending on where you're joining from, because at least I can see someone from Canada. I can see you. Please, can you stop sharing so that I can share my screen?
Yes, please.
Please confirm you can hear me. Just say yes in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let's interact. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So you still have your screen on. Please, can you stop sharing so that I can bring up my slide?
Okay, I've actually stopped sharing.
Can anyone see our screen? Okay, yes, it's off now. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, confirm you can see my screen again. So let's get this done. Can you see my screen? Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So today, I don't know, when I looked at the flyer, the first thing that came to my mind was why was managing employee engagement and support magnified? Because that's supposed to be a sub, because the main discussion is around creating a change-ready culture. And then we now say managing employees engagement and support. So today, we will be looking at, we should be able to understand the psychological and organizational barriers to change, identify strategies to enhance employee engagement during times of transition. We are changing and we need to move. So we look at what can we do to make employee engage, and then to develop communication and support mechanism to foster a resilient workforce. And then we'll use change management frameworks to actually facilitate smooth transitions, and then create an action plan to drive a culture of continuous adaptability. All right. So I would like to ask us a question here. I will be very glad to have someone who will make himself or herself vulnerable. Is there anyone who resides in Lagos? Possibly you live on the mainland and you drive to work every day on third mainland. That I'm going somewhere. Is there anyone that watch by a show of hand? Just want to let me know. I'm going somewhere with that question. Is there anyone that want to raise their hand? I'm trying to check. Anyone? Okay. Just Loladi. Any other person? Oh, your hand is also lowered. Hello. I hope I'm not alone. So nobody here drives. Is it because of the cost of fuel? Okay, I see another. I see a hand.
Hear you.
Yes. Okay. So now the question. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. Going. Could you be vulnerable? I want to ask. Do you have, particularly if you drive on third mainland, do you have a particular lane on which you drive? Please, any of those hands, anyone can just unmute and speak. Do you have a particular lane on which you drive?
Yes, when I okay,
can I speak?
Yes, we go ahead. Is that Chinwe?
No, this is more sweet.
Okay,
when
more
I
sweet.
use
Please,
when I drive on third mainland, I usually stick to a lane. I stick to a lane because I am a very scared driver, even up till now. So whatever lane I pick from my house, as soon as I join the highway, is what I get on when I get to third mainland. The only occasions where I change lane is if there is a stored vehicle on my lane, or there is an accident that I'll be forced. Even if there is a very slow movement, I just stick to it. And it's because I'm just scared, like I just can't afford to take the risk.
Thank you very much for making yourself vulnerable. Oga Charles said he has lane discipline. Okay, he said he doesn't have lane discipline, so that's okay. So, is there another person that want to actually toe the line of part of those signs? Any other person? Just unmute and speak.
Okay, for me, if I'm on third mainland, that's if I'm coming from the mainland to the island, commuting from mainland to the island, I always keep to the extreme right. That's the last lane.
Okay. So my question to you again now is that why do you keep to that lane? Is there any reason? Modoko has actually, she told us, she mentioned us. So is there any reason for you?
For me, there's a reason, because most times the way cars tend to just fuse up, you could get missing somewhere in between there. So I usually keep to the extreme, that whichever way, whether the bend or whatever, it's safer for me. And people at that particular lane are always not in a hurry, because I see it's the other way.
Thank you very much for making yourself vulnerable. And that's why what we are talking about today. Now, but everybody, and you will see as we go along today, that we have our comfort zone. And so the same way when you can see when the Modoko was sharing us, he said she will hardly change that lane except something forces her to go out of that lane. Now, the same thing is what happens psychologically when there's a change, or when we're implementing change in our organizations. And that is why it is expedient, because people have been programmed, been wired in certain way, and they want to follow that because it is safer for them in that way or in that manner. They want to stay by it. But because change is inevitable, and so we want to actually prepare our workforce in such a way that they are change ready. Even though, remember, we have said, okay, it is convenient to stay within our comfort zone. And that's all our discussion today. And that's why I decided to ask that question. Now, why is it important? I always like to actually put statistics where available, so that we can see that, it is something of concern. It's something we should be aware of. Now, 70% of projects fail without proper change management. So meaning success rate is about 30%. So that's alarming. And because we don't want to fail in our respective organizations, we want to have organization that is effective, that is efficient. So we don't want to be within the border of this 70%, that whenever we need to introduce change, we don't want to fail. So, and that's why we're having this conversation. Next one, said 99% of employees have stress during times of organizational change. That's very huge. So it means the people that are not affected are just paltry 21%, right? So if 79% are having stress, and then remember, now we're talking about mental health, we're talking about so many things. We want our employee to be engaged. So we don't want to be stressed because we are making a change. It is quite expedient. We make them change ready, such that the way their reaction to it is seamless. Now, another one, he said 83% of employees says their employers provide inadequate support. Wow. So meaning only 17% have support. That's if you turn it around. So it is expedient. Now, this next one is also very, very important. 68% of managers no actually reason for organizational change, meaning the rest 32% say, why we don't know. They just say we should change. So meaning there is a communication gap here. Now, these are statistics that I picked online. So this means that what we are talking about this evening is not something we must actually take with levity. Now, Gartner, they suggest that due to poor communication change, due to poor change communication, 73% of employees experience moderate high stress level. Same compared to the 79%. So this 79% is one research. This is another research. So we are here. We want to make our people understand. We want to make our people to be ready for change, and that's what we are doing. But before we go, it is quite important that we have an understanding of the psychology behind change. And that's why we're talking about why is it that change is actually difficult for everybody? Why is it that when Modope was talking, she prefers to stay on that lane and move on that lane from beginning to the end, that she doesn't want stress for her life? So why is it that Ololade I also used to be like that. You know, when I was preparing this, I just began to, I knew that I used to have a particular lane, except maybe conscious, like you say, I've been driving on this lane, I want to change lane. But ordinarily, because it is safe to be in our comfort zone, like I said earlier, you understand what I said. Change is fundamental to life, yet it often invokes fear and resistance. From personal goal to professional transitions, the process can be the process of change. It can be daunting. So we need to understand that there's a psychology behind why people fear change, why people resist learning, and how we need to know how to steer it effectively so that it will lead us to grow personally, to improve our resilience, and to have more fulfilling life. And we can have change in terms of maybe there is merger, there's acquisition, there is technological advancement, or we want to restructure. These are things that can disrupt why we want to bring about change. Now, there's a way our brains are wired. Now, you must have heard before when somebody says, if you see some people died without feeling their potentials. So what that means is that the brain has been designed in such a way that if we task it, it will secrete, so it will generate more neurons for it to actually do more. Now, so the brain is a complex organ and it is designed to protect us. When faced with change, the brain perceives it as a potential threat. That's the first thing that the brain says, because the brain has been wired that, for me to process payroll, I use Microsoft Excel. Now they say you want to use HRIS. The Excel that I've mastered all this year, and now you want to actually rethink. So the first thing that will go, the brain will interpret it as a threat. And there's a portion of the brain that's called amygdala, and that is the fear center. So it triggers some kind of responses, such as and that's why you see that when it happens, you just see that the first thing that your heartbeat starts to it starts beating faster than normal. There is heightened alertness. So that's the way brain perceives change, because it has been programmed, it has been wired in a particular way prior to that introduction of change. So I want to talk about these three theories, these psychological theories that actually has a way on the way we say the brain is on. And the first one is called loss aversion. Now, this was it was proposed by these behavioral economists, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. What he's saying is this: this loss aversion is saying that people fear losses more than they fear gains, or more than they value gains. How do I mean? If because I have been processing payroll with Microsoft Excel, and I know I am comfortable with it, I understand it, I am very good. So, so that means it's a gain for me. But the moment you now say, oh, we are introducing HRIS, and because remember, I've been using the MS Excel very well, but the HRIS says now I am a novice, I need to start learning it. So the fear that, oh, if I fail the first time, so what lot of questions is saying that the fear of failing is more higher, if I put it that way, than, oh, how I will appreciate, oh, the success I'm having with. So because of that, this law of is already there. When you say there is a change, it is psychologically there. It's a theory. So the reason why we are bringing all these up, we have this understanding, so that when we are introducing change, we are able to prepare our workforce, prepare our team, prepare everybody. So, but for us to be able to prepare them, we must have this understanding. Okay, this is why this person is reacting this way. That, okay, it is normal. But how do we now prepare them for change? The second one is status quo bias. Now, because I said I am comfortable using Excel. Remember, I said I would prefer. I'm afraid of fear of failing more than even the joy that using that. So because of that, because I'm afraid more, I would rather stay with status quo. I have prejudice to the status quo. Let me maintain status quo. Please don't bring this one. I don't want issue. Much more, if you are in an organization that will say we are high performing organization, that we must perform. It is very, very, very important for us to be able to draw the line when we are a high performing organization and we want to introduce change, because it could hinder people to actually not connect with you where you are going, because you know, everything is about performance. So if I make mistakes on this new thing that you are introducing, so naturally people will actually go against it. So they will prefer to stay with status quo. The same way, uncertainty and avoidance. That's the third theory. That is okay. Yeah. This new thing, I'm not sure about it. So let me avoid it. That's what uncertainty. Let me just avoid it. Please let me just stay where I am. Because now when you want to do your appraisal, you will now tell me that, okay, when we do this, so let me stay where I am. So I'm saying all this so that we have this at the back of our minds. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there's any exactly. Monogo said the devil you know syndrome. Let me actually say, let me do my lane where I understand. Okay, so I don't want trouble. So that's the way people will react. That's what all these theories is talking about. So we must, as HR professionals, have this at the back of our minds so that we are able to help our people towards where we want to go. All right. So now, what is the role of organization in culture change? So we can, our culture can actually impact the readiness of our organization to change. Employee there's something we call power distance, and I also mentioned about uncertainty avoidance. So they exhibit low readiness to change when they know that, there is so much power between there is a gap in terms of power, and then the way so they will actually be their readiness to change with it be very minimal. So in that, we are going to consider they consider three things in change readiness. Number one is cultural readiness, commitment readiness, and capacity and resources. So when we are assessing change readiness helps organization manage risk associated with it and have insight for implementation of change. All right. Now, all what we are talking about, why they rest? Why all this? And I call it unpacking the why. I want to talk about these 6 things. Hello, please, can you mute, please? If you are just mute. Now, there is whenever change is introduced, people see that, I am losing control. I am going from I'm losing predictability. Based on the explanation I made before. If I'm driving and this is the lane I'm used to, I don't know how traffic will be on that lane. I don't know how people will drive on that lane. Or it might even be lane. Maybe I have a route I follow. Or maybe I drive from Ikeja to VI. Or maybe I follow Eco Bridge. And somebody now said, come and let's go through third mainland. The person that is losing control because he doesn't understand the terrain. And in losing control, a lot of things can happen. It can actually break them down. And so the next thing is that the fear of unknown, like I said earlier, that's where these new things, I don't know how it's going to evolve. I don't know what I will meet along the line. I don't know whether I'll be able to understand it the way I've understood the current process. So there is that fear. The next thing that also is there's what we call cognitive dissonance. What this is talking about is that there is a how will I put it now? There's a conflicting beliefs, ideas. Remember, this is the way we are going before. This is what this is the way we used to do this. This is where we say we are going. Now you are not coming from another perspective. You are coming with another dimension. So in the brain, there's okay, this is the way I'm doing this thing now. Now this one is coming this way. So there is division. So it is quite expedient for us to have this at the back of our minds. And then people have self-interest. So, and they see it also as okay, it's a threat to status. How is it a threat to status? Okay, maybe on the lane I used to follow, or on the Excel, I keep using that one because I've established that. The Excel that I used to do payroll. People come to me, I'm the guru. I can say, oh, do this now. Now I have a status already. Now you are telling me to start to go back and be learning another software that we just want to introduce. Now I move from being a guru to a learner. So there is a threat to their status. And that's so we must have this at the back of our minds and be able to actually design some ways to make sure so that they are actually driven into, or you're driven or get their buy-in into the new thing that I want them to do. And because there is a threat to their status, there will also be, sorry, somebody's annotating, please. Watch it, please. All right. So because there's lack of interest and they are emotionally attached to the status quo because of the reason we have mentioned. So I want to see if I can actually sorry. All right. Okay. So when the loss of control I talk about, it's very germane and it is very important. Now, when we fear change, what impact do we have, or what impact does it? It actually impacts our personal growth. When we resist change, that means we are saying we don't want to learn more. And when we don't want to learn more, we are hindering our career progression because things are evolving day in, day out. Every now and then, things are evolving. And when we resist change, it also actually starts to impact on our relationships. As an example, if your manager is saying that, okay, this is what we want to do now, and because of the fear, you don't want to say it will rubble the relationship. It will not make the relationship more effective as it used to be, because you are seen as someone as what's the right word now? You are seen as someone that is like a terrorist, as someone that's not aligning with the new thing. So it will actually stay on it. Now, how do we actually navigate this change we are talking about? Again, I want to talk about something in psychology again, and that's neuroplasticity. Now, which is related to what I said earlier. I said, because the brain has the ability to actually reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. So this implies that the brain can adjust to new experiences, learn new skills, learn new skill set, recover from setback. So we must understand that even though whenever change is actually brought in, because the brain sees that, okay, this is not what we used to do. At the same time, when we think of it from the neuroplasticity point of view, we understand that the brain actually can be tapped such that new neurons have actually developed for us to actually adapt to the new change. So the onus is now on us to be able to actually use this as a catalyst to actually help our team members to let them embrace change, to let them stimulate this neuroplasticity we are talking about, so that they can enhance their cognitive ability, and flexibility. And this leads us to what we all know. We've talked about it so many times about growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So this is something we can also use. This actually, there is a research done by this Professor Carol Dweck on growth mindset, and in that, she mentioned something that one of our colleagues brought a picture of his nephew that was 6 months old, and in that picture, the 6-month-old baby was seeing that was showing excitement, was beaming with joy because I think the boy powered on a computer for the first time. So what that is saying is that everyone is excited about learning something new, no matter what level you are. You actually show some level of, you report anxiety. When you are learning something new, you are excited. Even though there is anxiety with learning something, or there's also the depression over time, but when you do it, when you get it right, there is actually excitement that is associated with it. And that is what we should actually promote within our team, the growth mindset and not the fixed mindset. There are 2 theories of intelligence and that I've been talking about. So that I could recall. So I'm going to talk about the fixed mindset, and something happened when I started in Jigawa State, and I taught in a school. Now I taught mathematics. I began to hear something, or I learned something then. I will go into the class. Now I'm teaching, or I was teaching as the teacher as it were, and a student will say something that he does not have in mathematics, that is nonsense, that is stupid. But you know, these people will come to me and say, that person is gifted. So one day I asked, what do you mean by it's gifted? That I am saying this is the way to do this. Somebody is saying something else, and you are saying it's gifted. That is what we are. That is a fixed mindset. A mind. Apologies, I'm not trying to bring down anybody, but mind that's okay, that believe that, oh, there are some certain kind of people that can know something. Oh, when they say it is correct, that is fixed mindset. So you can see from the question, from Harvard Business Review, that fixed mindset actually avoid challenges. So change is a challenge, but a growth mindset, we see it as opportunities. A fixed mindset will not accept failures or mistakes. They just say, oh, I don't want to do it. But somebody that has growth mindset, even when he makes mistake, or when he doesn't get it right, he embrace constructive feedback. Fixed mindset, he believes static. You see, I said I was in class and somebody is saying, oh, there's some people that are gifted, even though the gifted were saying nonsense. That is a mindset at all. In fact, what they were telling me then is that if one of those people that they believe that naturally they are gifted, whatever they say is correct, even though whether it has academic relevance or not. So, but the growth mindset will learn and grow from failures. The fixed mindset will shy away from unfamiliar things, from unknown terrain. So fixed mindset will stay on that lane and say, oh, this lane I will stay. In fact, if it's possible, when maybe there's a breakdown in front, you say, oh, I will stay here until they remove the vehicle. That is fixed mindset. But the growth mindset believe in skills development. Okay, what do I need to do for me to actually be able to navigate? I'm not saying we should be when a guy that say is learning discipline. I'm not saying we should be learning indisciplined, but we're saying that we should be able to evolve with things that we find ourselves with. Okay. Now, the power of habits. B.J. Vogt, who is a behavioral scientist, he said that when we want to form habits, it actually is based on small incremental changes. You can see this picture I put there. This person now, when the person started smoking, he's just wondering that somebody introduced him to cigarette, and he took one. Maybe he didn't even finish that one. They say, oh, no, I cannot. Then somebody encouraged him or her, took another. Then he starts, so that now maybe he can now do this pile in a day. So it's Because smoking is it's an habit. There's nobody that brought smoking from heaven or brought it from birth. So it's something that is learning. So, but it starts gradually, small incremental changes. So, and this can be used to actually create lasting behavior change. So we must have this mindset. So if we want to introduce change as HR2, we can, based on this, okay, let's bring it in manageable steps that we can actually graduate it gradually, so until people now, it becomes habit, it becomes something they do without thinking. So there is this power of habit. We must understand this as HR professionals. And on this, when Fogg actually did his this thing on, he did what we call behavior model, and it's built on 3 things: 1, motivation, ability, and prompt. I repeat that. The Fogg behavior model is built on motivation, ability, and prompt. And that can be likened to like a three-legged stool. Remember, if you have a stool that has 3 legs, if you remove one, the stool can never be stable. So one is not, they are all dependent and they are all work together. So motivation is the spark that ignites our desire to change. So we must actually tie it around, okay, what do you stand to gain? Oh, if you are using Excel, you will have to actually be putting everything on the soil. Maybe you have to actually be breaking down something so. But if you want to do HRMS, most of the things you do manually, they are automated. And what will take you to 3 hours, by the time you master it, it's going to take you 10 seconds, or no, let's say 10 minutes to do. So you must actually create a motivation that will ignite people's desire to change. Then ability. Excuse me. Ability is about reducing the friction that might prevent us from taking action. Okay? What is the friction can be in this case? I don't understand how this thing is going to be. And that's why the small incremental comes into play. And then the last thing, the prompt. These are triggers that initiate the action. So once we understand this theory about by Fogg, we understand that people can actually learn the change we are anticipating through habits that we will actually do on daily, on small increment, on small increment, if I can use it that way. All right. So what roles do leadership play during change? Now, communication is very, 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 very germane. If you recall, part of the statistics that I read when we started, we said that maybe about 50-something%, or maybe 60-something, I can't remember, 60-something% of managers, if you remember, of managers are aware why they are doing the change. Now, if at managerial level, not all of them are even aware. No, you can imagine what will happen when we go down the ladder. So that means it is very expedient for leaders or for leadership to actually communicate what the vision we are seeing, because we are moving from point A to B. Let people see it in their own, and let them ask, when they ask questions, answer their questions. So maintaining team engagement, because we have been wired so anything that in terms of question, in fact, as a matter of fact, you must have cheerleaders that will be your change champion that you want to. So you must maintain team engagement. Remember, when we started, we were talking about the psychology behind change. Their brain is interpreting it as something else. It's something that is actually abnormal, because the brain has been wired in a particular dimension that they do things. So you must be able to actually engage with them. So then address role adjustment. Let me go back to my example I'm saying again. This person has been used to Excel, doing this thing. Now his role is changing. He's not going to be doing it the way he's doing it in Excel. So you need to address every of his concern, that, in doing this, this is what we do, this is this. So don't leave no stone unturned regarding every of their concern regarding adjusting to the new change. Now, guiding cross-departmental cooperation. We are not working solo, because this organization now, there will be, oh, the impact is having on department A, on B, on C, on so. You must be able to align cooperation with all of them across functions, across department, across whatever. You need to guide it as much as possible and make sure that all T's and I's, all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted. Then flexibility. As I was preparing for this, I was just thinking that, oh, when we say we want to have a high-performing organization, we need to be very careful in an high-performing organization when we want to actually introduce change, because it has a tendency to make people to resist change. Because what we are concerned about is deliver the numbers, deliver the results, deliver. Whatever is going to take you, deliver. And because now I'm used to doing this, that I know I will not make mistakes, you now want me to change. Let's be sincere. I would rather stay where I know I will deliver. So in that case, but we need to change. So you need to actually manage that process seamlessly. Resistance to change is a natural human response. So now, what are the 5 Ds of change? That's what we call 5 Ds of change. Number 1 D is define. What do we want to achieve? What do we want to do? Define is just, or is you ask the right question. It's all about what to be learned, so define it, so that when you define things, there is no room for ambiguity. Everything is clear. There is clarity. So that means you don't, when during change, there is no stupid question. Because what you call stupid question could be make somebody not to resist your change. And because the kind of organization we're trying to portray is we want them to be change ready. So we don't want resistance to change. So no question is stupid. Let us define. Let's ask the right questions. Discover. He said this focuses on self-awareness as an organization. So who we are. Who are we? What is our should I call what's our values, what our vision, or maybe our current vision. This is where we are going now. This is what our values will be going forward. This is going to be our mission. So this just the self creative, let people see the organization. That's what you call it, discover, this art of discovery. Focus on the strength that you want to see. So, and let there be awareness and understanding of those things. The next thing is dream. Vision is future. Envision what after the change, what it will be, the state it will be. So envision it. Okay. So let it be okay. In this journey, that's because of this change. This is what we see. This is what we want to achieve. This is where we are going. This is what we do. By the time we are there, this is what we will be. This is what we will look like. All right. So imagine a process that will work well. Then the next, the number 4 D is design. This is all about plan, how you will achieve the change. You know, the common saying that if you fail to plan, you are prepared to fail. So articulate it, spell it out. Let it be, plan the process, how you want to go about it. And also look at it, okay, in case of, because change is actually, the change is new. Anticipate, okay, when you see, maybe you see something that is not like you want. How do you navigate about it? Oh, you just, okay, on planting. So you must plan for everything. So have a backup plan in case things do not go the way you plan. Okay. And the last one is deliver. After you have designed, you have defined, you have discovered, you have dreamed, you have seen it, you've planned it. Just execute. Execute your change plan. Turn the leap of the life into a gate. Just execute it. That's the 5 Ds of change is talking about. Please, if you have questions, you can begin to drop them in the chat. I will pick them up. Okay. Now, if you want to now implementing the change management framework. So what's the framework in itself? It's just a structure, a plan of how you want to do it, the guidelines, the processes, the tools that you want to, that will help you to identify, plan, execute the changes you want. That's all what's all about. If you check online, there are so many numerous change management frameworks that you can actually pick. But the critical thing is understand your business, understand the change you want to implement, understand which one works for you. I listed a few here, but I'll just talk about 3 of them because of our time. Okay. Now there is the Kubler-Ross model, the quarter 8-step process, McKinsey 7S framework, outcome model, Williams-Badge's transition model, SATA change management model, Kurt-Lewin's change management model. Like I said, they are all for change management. As a matter of fact, recently I'm working, because of where I work, we're working on something for L&D for the entire sub-Saharan Africa for my company. And when we started, we thought about 2 of this model. But along the line, we now found out that we came up with our own framework that has nothing to do with all these things. I'm telling you the truth. Initially, we picked ADCA, and then we picked quarter 8-step. But after we began to ask some questions again, because we're doing research, what we're doing, we just felt, okay, this thing will not work. And we began to tinker things, and we were able to actually come up with something. So, having said that, why am I saying is that even though these have been proven to work, it's even very possible when you pick an element of something and pick up because of what you want to achieve and make them together and come up with your own framework. Because first and foremost, somebody crafted all these things. So who says you cannot? All right. So like I said, I'll be talking about 3 out of these. And the first one I want to talk about is the ADCA model. And the A for the ADCA is awareness. And remember what I said earlier, that you cannot over-communicate. So announce the change that employees, so that let people know well ahead of time. Remember, okay, I just remember the last statistic in that. It says it's 68% of managers that actually say they don't actually know the reason for change, for organizational change. 68%. So if 68% of that's huge that they don't understand. So announce, let communicate it. You can never let them be ahead of time. Prepare them mentally, prepare them in terms of skills. So let awareness. Explain your reasoning behind the change, including your current pain points and what you intend to achieve over time. Give or let them ask questions. Give them opportunity to ask questions, like I said, so that in doing that, when you don't shut them up, there is no way they want to resist you. Awareness. Then the next thing is, after they are aware, you want to see the desire. You want to gauge their reactions to the change. Oh, do they like it, or are they reacting somehow? And in doing that, also you begin to say, okay, who are your change champions? Identify them. If they are resisting, if employees are resistant or indifferent, address their concern. Leave no stone unturned. So, and use those champions, actually hold them by the hand, because they will be your foot soldier. Then the next thing, remember, they have their comfort zone, but now you are moving them from their comfort zone to unknown zone, to fierce zone, as it were. So because of that, there's a gap. Bridge the gap, provide training, coach them, let them, give them the right skills, give them the right attitude, that they will the right knowledge that they will need to actually execute the change that you want to see. Address any skill gap, offer resources in anything that you need to help them to actually upskill them to be able to effect the change. That's what ADCA is talking about. And ability. He said, schedule practice runs before change is fully implemented. I remember few, even know that we even know how to do it at AHRP. If we want to do conference and we don't just come on conference days. Maybe I'm exposing ourselves now and be doing, we do dry runs. So that's what he's talking about. Monitor performance. Okay, don't just throw them into the ocean on the D-Day. Before you take them to swimming pool, let them see how, okay, now whether they can swim. Don't just take them on competition. So that's what, make schedule practice. Set reasonable goals. Now, remember, if you look at that set reasonable goals now, look at it compare it with what I said. If you are a high performing organization, so because we must get our numbers, and now you are changing, and you still want to maintain the same numbers as it were, because now there's a likelihood that you will not get that numbers at the beginning. You must consider that. Reinforcement is talking about how, now that we are beginning to get the change process, how do we want to make it continuous? How do we want to make it sustainable? So it's talking about sustainability. Use positive feedback. Monitor the change over time and ensure that, okay, it is now reproducible. This is what ADCA model is talking about. All right. Now, another model I will talk about is the McKinsey 7S framework. Now, this is divided into two. There's what we call the hard S and the soft S, 3. But if you look at this, it's a chain and like a network, and you see that shared values is actually in between the two. So it's like the shared value that connects, it connects all the other things together. Now, the hard values, the 3S, that is the strategy, the structure, the systems, they are like those things that will be done by management, as it were. These are why leadership will be involved in this in those 3 S. Why the others? So structure. We are looking in structure where this actually refers to the accountability. What is the chain of command? So you want to look at what's your in your change management. What's your chain of command? How is it to be? Who report to who? Who you understand? Like structure, like org chart. So what is the accountability chain? Who does this employee report to? Who employee ownership? Who gets this ownership of this? Blah blah blah. So you must have that within the system. That's what the structure is talking about. The strategy is talking about the plan, nothing but the plan. How do we want to go about it? What are the approaches that we must take? Everything documented to achieve the goals that we want to get, to get the competitive advantage that we want to have. So the strategy is about the plan under this framework. And the systems is talking about the processes. What are the operational processes that we have set up? Okay, for us to do this, to do that. Sorry, okay. All right. So it's talking about the process that how will the workflows be? That is what. So these are the things that leadership will actually define. Okay. Okay, I'll come back to you later, Shukurat. Okay. Now, shared values, and this is talking about the guiding principles, the culture. So when you say values, what do we want to be known for? How do we? I keep telling people when we talk about these values that if you know, as an example, this is what I tell people, that if you know that in your organization you don't pay tax fully, you have a way your consultant doctor your tax, there is no way you should put honesty or integrity in your core values. Period. Because the moment your organization they are aware that you do that, and you are putting that, is defeated from day one. I may be hard with what I'm saying, but that's what I tell people. So if you know that you do sharp practice with you cut when your regulators come, there's a way you arrange them. Don't put honesty and integrity in your core values. Right? Then the skills. What are the skills that will be required in terms of in the change that we took? What are the skills that then the staff? What are the people, the kind of people that we need for the kind of change that we anticipate, or what are the talents that will actually, even if the talent is not there and we don't want to bring from outside, do you want to use skills to bridge those gaps, to make those to prepare the employee, to make the employee that you have to meet the requirement of the employee you want to see? Then what kind of leadership style do you have? Do you is it laissez-faire, or is it you want to be democratic, or you want to be whatever? So this is what actually this framework is talking about. That okay, you evaluate all these things, and then you are able now to use it to drive the change that you want to see. All right. Now, last but not the least, like I said, I cannot be talking about all the framework, but I said I will just talk about 3, and this is the quarter 8 step change model. It's actually named after this Dr. John Cotter, and he's talking about these 8 steps. Now, if you look at all this, like I said, when I said it like that, it's even very possible you create your own model, because you will see element of one thing in another, and that means there's a common point, even though they come from different perspectives. It's also very possible for you to develop on your own. Now, Dr. John is saying that, first and foremost, you must create a sense of urgency. What that means is that you are inspiring your people to act with passion and purpose. So you want them to see, oh, this is the vision you see. Let them see, create that urgency in them by, it could be through a town hall. You want to gather them together. It's okay. Hello, people. This is what management is want to go, but we need to engage them. So create that urgency. Let them see it ahead. And in that creation of sense of urgency, you are actually like a marketer. You are selling it to them. So you can see, you excite them to pursue a compelling vision of the future together. And then the second point is build a guiding coalition. So that means you need to look, like the other one say, you look for a change agent. That, okay, the people that want to actually, that will help you to coordinate it, people that will actually build, that will work with you with leadership to actually ensure the change that we want to see. He said, form a strategic vision. Now, so that means create it. Let it be clear. Let it be somewhere that people can see it and read it. Oh, this is where we are going. So that if one of them is woken up from sleep and say, oh, this is the vision, then after you have created, it has been created, communicate it. Okay? Then the next thing, sorry, my slide is moving. Enable action. Act. And when you see barriers, you remove it. Act. Begin to act. Clear the way for people to see, to innovate. And then you say work most nimbly across silos. So that means if you want to actually keep people in small numbers, okay, the silo is what that can come to my head now, that in small cohorts, for them to actually, okay, try to run with this first, let's see, and then use that to generate impact. And then when we have short-term wins, generate it, celebrate it, communicate it, let people know, these people, the little that we have done based on the change, this is what we have achieved. Celebrate it. Don't wait for the massive one before we build. Let people be recognized. So that's such that when others know that, okay, when they are getting it right, they will also be celebrated. And you sustain it, sustain acceleration. You keep pressing after the first successes, you keep improving the system, you increase the structure, you improve the policies, but you don't just stay there. You keep moving and moving until the change is on the vision you see is there. And then finally, you make it I call it I say it's change. Make sure that it's now is the standard. Let me use that word now. That people know, okay, this is how we behave now. This is how we do things now. These are our values now. This is the way we do things now. This is our mindset. Set it like a policy that people say. That's what Cotter is talking about in his in this 8-step model. So build on the change, make it stick. That's what he's talking about. Excuse me. Now, to make your change sustainable, I'm talking about 3 things. Number 1, ensure agility into your organizational values and practices. We've talked about being agile so many times that, okay, so what agility actually means, when I was writing this particular point, and what comes to my mind is what we talk about our AHRP. We say we are a tribe of shameless learners that we learn, we unlearn, we relearn. That's what agility is all about. So meaning we are not restricted in our thinking. You don't say, oh, this is the way we do it, and no, that if adventure we see that, oh, we have learned it, but maybe because of technology, of new things, we say, oh, that's not the way again. We move. So you must ensure that, oh, your people are able to innovate, resurface what they are saying. So embed agility in them. So when they know that when you are creating an innovative environment, people knows that you cannot say, okay, this is where we are, stay there. Embed agility into organizational values. Let them know that, okay, you can actually recreate things. So it's not, some people, they will say, oh, we cannot reinvent the wheel. That's not what we're talking about here. As far as reinventing the wheel, we make sure do things faster than we used to do it. Apologies, please. Please, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Am I still audible?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So your continuous learning is very germane. And then finally, I say develop a customized action plan for change readiness. So, and in that, I said assess change readiness. If you want to do a survey, you can make an animal. Let's say, okay, if you want to do a change on so and so, just do it and see. You want to assess it all and see how many of people will actually change with me. That's the first way you want to go. And then when you see that you are scoring, the percentage is very low. So that means you have assessed it. You know where you are. Then define your change objectives. When you have defined it, that, okay, this is what we want to do, then develop tailored action plan. Now, when I say tailored action plan, that means is that what you are doing is based on the findings that you find. It's not that you go and pick something from the textbook. And that's exactly why I say what happened into that ALP that I'm doing with some of my colleagues. We have looked at some things, but by time, because we actually did a survey, and yours truly is actually the person behind that survey. And when we started looking at it, we now felt, no, there are something we need to tinker based on our findings, and that does not align with the outcome model we want to. So we needed to create something for ourselves. So develop tailored action plan. If you want to sew any clothes, you will take yourself or your tailor. It's either you take yourself to your tailor or your tailor comes to you and take your measurement. So it must be to fit. Except if your tailor is not, I don't want to mention some tailors. All right. So it must be tailored action plan. And then after you have done it, then you implement the change with a phased approach. Remember what we said earlier, that because they have been wired, it's wired in some way. So you don't just lump everything into them once, bam. They will resist. They might not be able to cope. Their emotional stability might not cope. So, but let it be incremental. And then as you introduce it, monitor, you adjust. You introduce it, monitor, adjust. You introduce, you monitor, adjust. That is the way we will create a sustainable change readiness culture. I'm looking at my time because of our question, so I want to do one also so that we can ask a question. Now, these are my key takeaways. Change resistance is natural, but it can be managed through engagement and support. We have talked about how to engage so much time. So you can never over-engage. You must provide adequate support. Communication, transparency, and trust are critical for fostering a change-ready workforce. And I said, proven change management framework will help you streamline your transition. However, you can actually think of something for yourself. Leadership plays a crucial role in modeling and reinforcing change readiness. I have one example I share everywhere I go when it comes to this particular point. I used to work somewhere, and we said as simple as the ID card by that we all have, but because this place was a service environment that we want our people to be at their best whenever they are servicing our clients. So we agreed in one of the meetings that everybody must wear the ID card badge. So the reason is that, if you misbehave, a client can actually pick your name and say, oh, it's Lanley that attended to me that I've stuck this way. So we felt the first way we want to make people accountable in the way they service people for them to be at their best. And when we made the decision, the first question I asked the MD, I said, Madam, are you sure we want to do this? He said, yes. I said, so that means if you come in, if I see you without your ID card, that's the MD, that my employer. I said, I will ask you to wear your ID card. He said, so be it. So you can see that leaders, so, and it happened maybe one or twice. I just say, hello, madam, please, can you put on your ID card? And he did not say, are you crazy? So now, if the MD is doing that, we have modeled that to the workforce that if HR can tell MD and MD wears it, so who am I? That's why we say leaders play a crucial role in modeling and reinforcing change readiness. Finally, a culture of adaptability leads to long-term business success. I conclude. Creating a change-ready culture is not a one-time effort, but an ongoing process that requires commitment at all levels. Thank you. So I can now take question. Hello, am I still here?
Wow. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much, Mr. William. Thank you very much for this very interesting session. The topic, looks so simple as well as something looking so easy, but you took, this was another twist to it because of the will I say the change management theory that you used in helping to explain and bringing this to clarity and to the reality of what we have today. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. This is a good way to start our evening or to end the evening, as the case may be. So do you have any question? Looking at the chat, I currently don't have any question. Do you have any questions?
Yes, there's a question in the chat by Shukurat. She's asking that can we kindly share tips to assist your team in developing a growth mindset?
Okay.
Okay, so before, is anybody want to, we're tribal. Is anybody want to say anything to that based on what we have just talked about today? Let me try. Let me read the question again. Sorry, I'm looking for it. A lot of things are coming up. Please, where's the question again? That's run away. Okay. So can you kindly share tips to assist your team in developing growth mindset? So for me, what I would just say is to that is that this easiest way to do that is just for you to make sure that what you are creating is what we call a learning organization. A learning organization is one that actually, let me just use AHR as an example now, that we are so concerned about learning every now and then. So you must make sure that, you create rooms for your workforce to learn. Possibly, maybe most of it must be internal, but maybe you have to create such that, on monthly, I remember I was somewhere, it's actually expedient, part of KPI of every department, that you must have done, I can't remember the numbers now, maybe 2 trainings in a quarter, every department. Otherwise, there is no way they want to score high. It goes to affect their performance, their what do you call it now, appraiser. So if you have done that within yourself, there is a growth then, because they know that training must happen. And it's not that you just do curriculum and sign it, because we have the protocols that, this is the training, this is but there's assessment. So I have so many forms that are designed. So it's as expedient. So once that is as simple as that, there is a culture shift that, we must learn. And then also, you might also say, somebody must facilitate something. So that is just a culture. And it might also be, maybe you have LMS, or if you don't have, that other than the one that you're doing, that you must have taken a training on so and so, maybe on any of the free, maybe Udemy or whatever it's. So once you have that mindset is there, and then you also create a room for people to actually innovate. Okay, or how you will give room for improvement, for suggestion on how we do things. Once you begin to do this as simple as those things now, you'll see that the way people think is going to be different. So that's, I don't know whether somebody else wants to add to that in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Lolade, for that. Okay, any other question?
Do we have any other question? Any other question, contributions? Okay, I think someone asked if they will get the slide.
Yes, we have our.
Then we also got it.
We have our traditional way of doing our things in AHRP. So because we are self-funded, so if you pay for the certificate, you get the materials with the certificate. That's the way we can encourage us. For example, the Zoom account we are using is not free, and you know what Forest is talking about. We don't even pay Naira. So this is just the way you can encourage us. So once you pay for the certificate, you will get with it. Thank you. I hope I'm fair.
Okay, then all right, the link, just a minute, the link for the session will be shared. Attendance link will be shared shortly. Please, I'm sorry for this, you get it shortly. Then also we got, I think, Paul, thank you for our session. Culture is just a framework that gives birth to positive change in an organization. Very true.
Sorry, some people are asking for how they will pay for the certificate. They're asking for link.
Yeah, once you get the attendance link, you see the link, then that will take, okay, you have that
Has it
now.
been posted? Okay, so I think the link is posted. Yes.
The link for the certificates and
yes, certificate of attendance. I'm also dropping it again, just for. Thank you, Chichuku. Thank you. Jessica, you have it there. So attendance is automatically captured. So you just
so you have the link for the certificate. Thank you very much. Yes, and you can go back and rewatch the session on our YouTube channel. So if you missed any of the session, you could go back and rewatch, as well as if you just want to have a recap. Okay, Victoria is putting up her hands up. I don't know, can we take Victoria? Mr. William, please, can we take Victoria, or do we just...
Yes, please.
Okay, Victoria, please go on with your question. Please make it very short, please. Hello, Victoria.
All right. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you so much for the section. Now, my question, you're talking about change and how organizations should create awareness before this change. Now, in a setting where this professional coming into this sector is not used to a particular aspect of, and let me just not say it's a job description per se. Now you're coming in as an HR admin, and they're introducing you into marketing, which wasn't part of the deal. And you find yourself struggling with it. At some point, the person that transitioned this section to you is going behind to take those marketers and those students that she introduced you to. At that point, you're kind of frustrated. What should you do as someone that is not a marketer but found herself in that space? What should you do? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. First and foremost, that is not change we are talking about here. And I beg to differ. Some other people can also help in answering the question. I don't have monopoly of knowledge. So now I'm HR. It's different if I'm an HR in a HR consulting outfit, and it's okay. Everybody will actually try to bring in business for us. And even if that is the case, that must have been discussed during the interview process. But if there was no iota of that, and then I interview, we discuss HR related issues, and I told you what I've done, I told you what I can do, and then you bring me on board, and suddenly out of the blues, you said I should go and be marketing. That's not change. That is deceit. Okay. So if that happens to me, I'm being sincere with you, what I would do is I'll start looking out. I'll just start first thing, maybe I want to actually give them the benefit of doubt. Maybe I want to discuss with the people involved that, okay, this is quite different from why you brought me in. And what I'm seeing here was never in the picture. And so whether I want to assume that maybe they didn't see it that way, maybe whether we can have a gentleman discussion around it. But if I see that, they're actually bent on it, then I think the best way is to start looking out. That's it for me. Thank you. So I wouldn't know whether somebody wants to actually speak to that, please. Like I said, we are a tribe of chimney members. So I don't know if maybe I want to call people out. Anybody want to say something to that? Dr. Emo, you want to say something regarding that? I see you online. Okay, Modokwe, please. Go ahead, please. Modokwe, please unmute.
Thank you for the section, Mr. William. It was quite insightful, and as always, there's always something new to take home. Yeah, just to add to the response you gave to the question, I had an experience sometimes back, and I will say that, like you have rightly said, that is not change, or we can't categorize that as the change we have talked about in this section. It's deceit, for lack of a better word to use. In my experience as the head of HR, we had a new, at a point, we had a new MD CEO who is just result driven. And I recall that in one of the management meeting, he called me out and said, Mo, you can't just be dressing like this and be so beautiful and coming and sitting in the office. You should join the marketers. Your appearance should be able to bring some money. That at the time I smiled, but looking at it in hindsight, I'm supposed to actually call him out, because that was tending to an harassment and a bias, because I don't think it should be as a result of you appearing well, then you should be reassigned to a different role. At the time, what I did was, okay, anyone going for marketing and you needed help, I could join you. I did it not because the director called me out. I did it because I also want to understand some of the challenges the employees were facing with meeting up with their targets. And I did some couple of call with them where we went to some clients. At the end of the day, what I realize is, because of the way things are done in our country, people usurping people's power, people trying to do like kill 15 birds with half stone. We have hired you, you should be able to do this and do that. And so it's clearly deceit. And like Mr. William has answered, first would be to get clarification, just to be sure that what you are seeing is what you're seeing, or maybe it's a mistake, maybe it was not intended, maybe it's just one off. And then if there's anything you would do differently, it would be, okay, if this is what you people want, that I should start being a marketer, you consider your skills. Do you really have the skills? Is this what you want to do? Is this your career path? If it is, if all your answers are no, and it's not something you are looking into, exploring into, then you could start thinking of, okay, strategizing your way out. But while you're still there, because maybe you have to do it, is the thing that brings food to your table, do it with all joy. Put your differences aside. You could learn one or two things while you do it, and frantically and deliberately
Because
search for an option to leave.
oh, okay, sorry, I thought you were done.
I'm done now. Thank you.
All right. So I was saying that I've actually voluntarily actually supported the sales and marketing team on my own when I feel okay, I have something I can offer to support them because of the business. I always wear the hat of a business owner in my own little way. I have the business. So, but that is me. But now for you now to change my role to marketer, it's a no for me. So, fellow Adeyemi, please.
I guess that will be the last question we'll be taking this
I think
evening.
you raised his hand. I guess you want to add. Is he still on the call?
Hello?
I can't. Sorry, I just can't see him again.
Yes, I can't see him either. I think I was
Possibly,
next to take it.
possibly his network.
I guess.
Okay. So over to you, Olade.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your time. It's really been an interesting and a very insightful knowledge sharing